We go. Ooh, welcome to the Future Hit Movie Gems podcast. I'm your host, Ty Spiker Christensen. Oh, I'm sorry. This is my Magnum condom for my Magnum-sized dong. That movie quote technically wasn't in this movie, but it might as well have been. Anyway, we've got Jordan Christensen on the podcast.
Hey. Tie.
Do you have a quote?
Uh, no, not for this movie.
How about, yes, it's very important that you choose belief or unbelief, disbelief. I'm trying to do my best Hugh Grant
Hugh Grant.
impression. The guy that was in all the romantic comedies. It's all about control, Jordan. Which I actually think is very interesting. Today
I
we're
did like
reviewing
his
Heretic.
quote. The only thing I probably agreed with was him saying, it's leaving me. I'll remember it
It
in a
was when
second."
he had a woman in a cage and he's like, "Hey, these guys making some pretty good points here."
Oh my gosh, no. Oh, he said the more I learn, the less I know. I can agree with that.
It's true. Whatever happened to faith? Good old-fashioned faith. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Not my problem. Not my crisis of faith to deal with, right? Um,
Well,
guys, we're reviewing
speaking of faith, this movie had a 0.
zero faith. Had
It
some faith in
did.
humanity.
This is what a movie looks like when there's no faith in a movie. Like, at least for me, that's how I felt.
No faith.
Well,
Like,
like no
or
concept of faith. Like literally the I mean, we'll get into it, but the
oh, okay.
girl at the very end said, "Oh, they did an experiment where a bunch of people prayed and it didn't make any difference from the people that didn't pray and the people that prayed." It's like you can't.
All I would say
That's
to that is, yeah, faith
dumb.
without works is dead. So
Exactly.
when you
I
pray that someone gets better, you should be then going out and delivering soup to that person. Like that's the idea. Like, I get it. Yeah. Praying isn't like rubbing some lamp and getting a genie to give grant you wishes. You pray to understand God's will, not to change it. Anyway, that always bothers me about people. And I get it. Sometimes miracles happen. I can't explain it. You pray for something and it happens. Oh my gosh, it's a genie. I got one of my three wishes. But sometimes it's more like I just pray to understand like what's God's purpose for me because
it's
you
a
kind of have to go
genie.
through the process because if he just gives you the answers, your exam doesn't benefit you anything. Like I could technically go through med school if someone just gave me all the answers, but you don't want me operating on you. I mean, maybe Jordan does. I'll give you a lobotomy, saw your head off.
No, no, no.
If I set off the head of your skull, the same three dimples, an old man would be present. Okay, anyway, sorry.
Been a lot of
uh,
lies.
there's a lot of lies. We're talking about Heretic, and there's a lot of lies in this movie, particularly about the Mormon faith, which made me laugh. And by Mormon, I mean the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Um, okay, so let's get it right off the gate. We're talking about the movie Heretic. This movie came out in 2024. It's in theaters now, probably not in theaters anymore, but slowly leaving theaters because only a few people went and saw it, but it got pretty good reviews. It was directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, also written by Scott Beck and Brian Woods. Stars Hugh Grant, the the nervous, bumbling British gentleman, and all the romantic comedies. I'm trying to do a Hugh
Dude,
Grant
he is. Well,
impression.
I'm so glad he's diverted from romantic comedies, and he's
Yes,
like,
he's a great villain. He's just hamming it up. Paddington
yeah.
2, The Gentleman, this movie. Try to think of like another villainous role he did recently. Those
Uh,
are some of the ones that
no,
come to mind.
Dungeons and Dragons.
And Dungeons and Dragons, thank you. I was like, I know there's another one I just
Yeah.
saw that he's just hamming it up and having a good time, and I like it. I like this
You already
Hugh
said he was the little
Grantissance.
Wonka Oompa Loompas as well, right?
I didn't say that, but yeah. So I mean, he's like in roles. Is he a villain in the new
I mean,
Wonka?
he's kind of like a nuisance.
Oh, okay, interesting. He's like a foil to Wonka. Is that why he enslaved him in his chocolate factory? Just for being a thorn in my side. Now get to work
No,
making me
remember it's how
chocolate.
they were being gobbled up by the Wog Snagglers and
Swung wings
this
banglers. Yeah, I don't know what the
vicious knits.
Just kidding. He's like eating too. He's just kidding. What do you take us for, Wonka? Doesn't sound like an old map I ever studied. Let's see.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude, he's good. Baruka. Yeah, he's probably one of the best.
Like,
Um, So it stars Hugh Grant, Chloe East, Sophie Thatcher. Topher Grace is the missionary. Doesn't have a companion, which upset me. Get that guy a companion, whether it's a wife as a senior. I couldn't tell if they were trying to make him a senior,
Yeah, because he
senior
was
missionary
older, I
that may
think.
be married, because that's a thing in our
I almost
church. You
didn't
could be
even
a senior.
recognize him with his blonde hair. I was
I
like,
didn't
what in
even
the world?
recognize him, but I was like, oh, that's definitely him when he spoke, or he like, are you sure? And then he left again. I was like, that's definitely him. Anyway, and a few other people, but it's weird. I see all these names, but I'm like, oh, I definitely didn't recognize him. Like Ellie Young or Elle Young plays the prophet, and I'm like, yeah, the girl actually looks
Usually,
quite lovely, and she's horrifying in the movie. Unrecognizable, gooey, wet, dripping woman. Anyway, um, yo, what was it like watching this movie for the first time, Jordan? We're watching it for the podcast.
just saw it once in theater. I will not be revisiting this, and I do not recommend it.
Oh man, out of the gate, so much hate.
Already, already
Jordan, are
getting
you
to
not a
it.
believer? Help my unbelief. What's wrong?
I
What's wrong with this
am.
movie?
This movie is completely faithless. It reminded me of the Last Temptation of Christ. I just didn't like it. I don't know. Listen, there were some moments I enjoyed. I like Hugh Grant's performance. I like the whole like, choose which door, because then you're like, oh my gosh, if they choose, like, what's his game? Like, will they actually let him go, or is it all just a mind game? And yeah,
I like little things. Like it doesn't take a lot for me to like a movie. I like where the camera's panning back from the house and you get a view of the gate and it's just like iron bars and you're looking through it and the girls are like stuck in it and I'm like, oh, like they're about to be imprisoned. Like
Mm.
good foreshadowing. Little things like that. It doesn't take a lot. And I even liked in the trailer that they actually backed out and A24 is the logo on the gate. I'm like, that's cool.
Oh,
Like
is that the
someone took
opening
time to edit that.
scene? I
One
I
of the
wa- I
opening ones from the house.
I walked in a couple minutes late from the movie.
I mean, like, where did you get to? Opening
Well,
scene. I think it
the
just opens up on the hillside, and it's the two sister.
oh.
Oh, did you miss the conversation of the two sister
No,
missionaries again?
that's
Oh,
right when I walked in. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, jeez.
yeah.
Oh
What's going
my,
on here? Okay, that's why I made a joke of it's always sunny in Philadelphia because these two
I
sister
know.
missionaries. Now, to be fair, they're sitting on a park bench or a bus stop bench with like it says like I don't know, it's a condom advertisement or something like that. So they just start talking about like dong size, and I just
How
thought that
she
was
got,
weird.
well, and how she got her testimony. I'm like, oh, please.
I know
Oh,
she's like, I got it by
brother.
watching pornography, and I'm like, well, this is coming from a Latter-day Saint. I was like, this is very few and far in between, and probably no one has ever gained their testimony doing that. So how about that? I also thought it was really funny. Something about I have so many questions. We can get into them in a minute, but I
Maybe
saw it
she
at the
gained the
theater too.
testimony of the devil.
I learned that the devil's real, and so therefore God must exist. That's my thing, dude. Once you know what evil is,
She
dude, you're
didn't
like,
have a soul.
shouldn't have a soul.
Oh,
Um,
brother.
yeah,
They
so
just make
anyway.
us seem like total cuckoo heads. Like,
Cuckoo.
I did like when they were carrying their bikes up the stairs. Like that brought me back to the mission. Just, the
That's funny.
endless
Why didn't they
walking.
ride him back down? There was a grassy hill on the side. That would have been really fun, but maybe too
Tywee.
extreme for those sister missionaries. Yeah. I'm just like, what's the point of having the bikes? They walked him up the stairs and there was a hill on the side. Ride it down. Just got your brakes on. Anyway, that annoyed me. No, so you
Did
didn't miss
did you
anything.
think of when she's talking about the when she saw the butterfly, did you think of the ladybug in
Oh, and Don't Breathe,
Don't Breathe?
100%. Took it right out of Don't Breathe back. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about because, like I said, it doesn't take a lot for me to like a movie, but they did one thing different here that I very much
Wait,
didn't
is the
like.
one thing different that she said, I want to come back as a butterfly?
Yeah, let me just be a spokesperson. No, I'm technically not even a spokesperson for the church, but let me just say, the Latter-day Saint faith firmly does not believe in reincarnation. I don't even get that line. Was she just a dumb ditz being like, I'd like to come back as a butterfly?
I know they made her
It made me
a
think
total
of don't
air.
don't hug
I
me, I'm
hate that,
scared.
like,
Pesky bee and swats the butterfly.
anybody that has like believes, they always make them like airheads. Like I just
Yeah, like
we're
they only have
completely
faith because they've thrown like I don't know logic and reasoning
logic
to the
out the
wind. Yeah,
window.
yeah.
Like
It's like I
we're
don't know
some
how the world
moron or
functions.
something.
It's like, did you not know that there's a lot of faiths based on a Jesus Christ character that comes
And
back and rise from the dead? It's like, yes, there have been many languages and many stories retellings of the one savior that would come and save mankind. Like, what am I supposed to take away from this? Like, there are other people that got it wrong. Maybe there's a few people that got it right. I don't know. Like,
Exactly why
that
I
was
said this
funny.
is devoid of faith. The idea is like if from a person viewing us from the outside, if you have no faith, which is something you cultivate from reading the scriptures and praying, like if you have none of that, like I can see from the outside, like looking in, like this is how you would see it. So like
Yeah, I let's get into so yeah, watching it in the theater, loved it, got some popcorn. I was ready to enjoy this movie. I had an icy as well. Those things are very expensive. So
I usually
I'm
get an
sure it's the
icy.
only like my refreshments that I got is keeping the theater in business. But I now learned like every Tuesday they do like they give away free bags of popcorn. You can go in and watch movies, become like a member. What I need to do that because I got a good friend Paul. I went and saw this with him. He's seeing a movie every Tuesday night. Like I don't even go to the theater that much, and I have a movie podcast. That guy's insane. So it was fun to watch this movie with him though, and we had a good a few eye rolls and a few good chuckles as well. But because it's like, did these people that made this movie even ask a Mormon what they believe? I mean, there's just a few funny things. But anyway, um, let's get into two of our favorite things about this movie. You go first. Can you find anything
I've
positive to
already
say?
said Hugh Grant's performance,
There you
and
go.
I
That's
like
great.
the whole decision thing, like playing mind games with him. Like
Yeah.
you mentioned, it's kind of Saw-esque a little.
Yeah. A little bit of Saw, definitely. Um, I would say I enjoyed like I said, little things where they do foreshadowing, like even in movie making techniques, very predictable, but it's still good storytelling, if that makes sense. Like if it's done well, either you slightly subvert the expectations or you um you at least make it make sense in the universe we're in. Like there was a few moments where I'm like, would they make that decision? Would they not? Like I think they did a pretty good job. Like as far as like good horror movie decisions for the most part. There was a few that I was a little baffled by. I'm trying to think of it right now. Like maybe trying to climb out the skylight or something. I don't remember. But
I maybe
a
I
few
would have
weird
liked more
decisions.
kind of games. I just felt like as soon as they walked down into that cellar, I
Yeah.
kind of zoned out. I
Uh,
just
to refresh your mind or for refresh your memory, they go down there, and it's funny because it's like a circular hallway. Oh, I know my second favorite thing real quick though, because
yeah,
I
yeah, sorry.
mentioned the thing. It's the shot that shows them running around in the basement, and then it like backs out, and it's the miniature, and then the door opens,
Oh,
and
that
like
was
them running
cool.
out.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool shot. I'd love to know how they
Uh,
shot that.
Hereditary. I like
That
there's that
reminded me of
opening
Hereditary.
shot.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
shot where they pan in and
The
it's
miniature,
the
and
fa
then it
or
turns
even
into
like
a real room.
Beetlejuice a little bit. Yeah, it had like
Yeah,
there's something
Beetlejuice.
very weird about like a small miniature that's accurate, and then like it
They
kind of twists your mind a little bit because
they
you're like
also do that
watching
in
and you're like,
Brazil. You think
oh
it's the
really?
city, and all of a
Yeah,
sudden this guy leans up over it, and you're like, "Whoa."
yeah, 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 dude, it's crazy. Um, yeah, so I thought those things were cool. And ultimately, like, even though you may have mentioned like it lacked faith, I don't think they were saying that the guy was right. He's clearly the villain. So in the end, faith wins out overall because there was a
Well,
miracle that
no,
happened. She comes back from the dead and hits him in the head with a board. Oh, sorry. Spoilers alert, but everybody. Other sister missionary comes back from the dead and hits him in the head like Kill Bill style. Freaking wooden with nails on it. Side of the head.
yeah,
Kill
no.
Bill style, dude.
I know what you're saying. Yeah, it's
Thought it
like,
was in her foot.
should we listen to this guy? He's a completely cuckoo head, especially when you go down to his basement and see all the satanic crap.
Or even just women in cages. Let's not forget that, dude. Women in cages, multiple women. That was great. Only women. It's all about control, Jordan. And he gets them because of hurricanes. I don't remember what.
I
Why did he
just,
have all these women? They came
I
to
know,
him.
but
I can't
it's
remember what
just,
the reasoning was.
it just feels like the checklist. Like I mentioned this in my review on Letterboxd. I just said I was so glad I didn't serve my mission in the States because I never with people in the States, it's like, oh, look, they have like TikTok and all these things that tells them like, here's all the things wrong with the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints or the Mormons. And it's like, okay. And I'm just glad I was in Argentina where it was like people just wanted to talk about God. And so there was none of this like, oh yeah, why didn't that was the one thing they didn't mention in this movie. I was surprised that why didn't the blacks get their priesthood to a certain but they mentioned like gays. They mentioned just all the things that, people have a problem with our church.
Yeah,
The
polygamy and stuff
polygamy
like
was a
that.
big one.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Um,
like, yes, let's make a list. Why don't we? And the movie just went through every
Speaking
single
of
one.
things, speaking of things I didn't get answers to, I wanted to know Hugh Grant's motive. Like, other than like he could just be a sadist, masochistic, chauvinist pig that loves to, trap women in his basement. But I almost wish like his wife that he kept talking about that didn't exist. I almost wish that he did lose a wife and then like started to question his faith in God. And and maybe I know like I think it's fine to leave it ambiguous, but I almost would have enjoyed just a little something. Like just a reason, like where he's like, I lost my faith in God because my wife got cancer, and how could a cruel God get, just one line you could have thrown it
Oh,
away.
like prisoners.
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
anything that would have made me then like, okay, I get why he's having a crisis of faith. That's why it would cause him to do all this, right? Because he did mention, he goes, I started studying all these things and I learned, the more I learned, the less I knew. And I get it. It's confusing. And you look at all these faiths, oh, they all try to come near me. It's weird. It's almost where the formation of our church came from. This confusion of all these different religious sects coming to uh, one conclusion, one Bible. How is it that there's all these different faiths? Why do we all practice our faith differently? So anyway, it's just interesting that we
There's
don't
a
get
lady.
any reason to why his like where like did this just come from the fact that he loves torturing women or like it's only women, and I thought that was interesting, and then like sister missionaries an obvious target, and then I kind of wish we had one more victim. I thought Topher Grace, if you're gonna have him in a movie, have him at least get like
I
strangled or slit throat or
anything,
anything. Like
yeah.
nothing. I'm
That
like,
was a
wasted,
bummer. That was a
wasted.
waste.
They,
That
they
all
brought
that for
him there, and
nothing.
and then in the end, he like didn't even learn anything. I'm like, why did you have the fake? Like, so he checked up on them, and then we find out that he hid the bikes from the front gate. But I'm like, I already knew he did that. Like, I knew that immediately.
Well,
Like, I knew the bikes were going to be
I
there.
thought he was gonna see the bikes and then be like, oh,
Yeah, and then come back and then get killed. I
then get
even thought it
killed.
was one of those two things. I was like, either he's already hid the bikes, but he's still gonna find out like something else is gonna be
Yeah.
there that Hugh Grant didn't account for. And then we find out later it was something about the they turned the coats, and so the key was in the other pocket, and that's how they knew that the codes were switched. And anyway, so like she knew that he was doing this game and how he performed these miracles. I like this. I like the Antichrist kind of stuff where you have a guy that pretends to show you a miracle. I really liked that. So you said you blanked out, or I liked it. This creepy girl comes in eating some pie. He poisons her. She falls dead. And he's like, can you confirm that she's dead? And then he
I,
brings her back from the dead. But not until the women leave, and then they come back, and then she's like, dude, her head's turned. He's like, dude, no, you're not. Like, so you
I
find out that there's another woman that was placed there, and then she comes to life, and it was
well,
all a
see,
ruse. He really
and,
killed that woman, and he brought some other bimbo to be the prophet. And it's like, oh my gosh, she
that's
survived.
interesting,
Yeah.
but I
Dumb, yes.
no,
He murders some women, some women, some broad, dumps her, puts some other women in there to be for like to behave like some miracle happened. I don't know. It's dumb. It's funny, but it is dumb. But anyway.
I can't remember what I was gonna say.
I was like, ah, it's funny or it's good. He's performing these fake miracles, right? He's a false prophet. I love it. I just wanted at
Yeah.
the end, like I just wanted like drag me to hell ending where demons just came out of the ground and pull Hugh Grant into the earth.
Oh, you know what I was gonna say is that's an interesting like I do agree like it's an interesting concept, but with most horror movies, if they have a twist ending or something, I just maybe M. Night Shyamalan has forever ruined twist movies. I'm just like I just can't stand twists anymore. So it's like, oh, or because it just felt like a Sherlock Holmes movie where she's like, oh, he did the bikes
Yeah,
and then it did this,
yeah.
and it's just like okay, like I didn't need
My
all this like
pocket felt lighter. He
well,
switched our coats and the
it
key
felt
wasn't
like
there. Yeah.
Joker when it was like, "Oh my gosh, he didn't know her the whole time, and let me tell you what the twist was." And it's like, you know what's better is subtlety and people rewatching because
Yeah.
there's no rewatchable value to a movie like
I
this
100% agree. Yes.
when it's like it tells you, and it's like, why
Had a
not
missed
give us,
opportunity. It went
yeah,
too
give us
far. I
subtle
agree.
hints and like let us work out the things.
Because even like just showing the key, I was like, there's significance to this. And then they had to say it. And I'm like, don't say it.
Yeah, it just felt like kind of a cheap thriller to
It
me.
would have even
So
been greater if he was just like, "How did you know?" And she's like, "You put the key in the wrong cut," or just one line. They didn't even need to go. They literally did the flashback, showed them finding the key, him hiding the key,
yeah,
putting the key in the pocket. I'm like, I get it. I know he switched the
I
key. Like, I don't
know.
need to see it
They
happen.
spelled it out for
This is
you.
an A24 film. Like, how
They
do you
treated
not?
us
How do
like
you
a
even?
bunch of dum-dums.
But I'm also like, maybe that's kind of where they need to get to, where they're like, we need to appeal to more people. Otherwise, people are gonna not understand. I'm like, this is already an indie film. Like, no one's gonna go see this movie. Nobody cares.
But
I was slightly interested because as a Latter-day Saint, I'm like, not too many movies where you have two female Latter-day Saint horror movie. I don't know. I was interested to see it for that reason. And then they got so many things wrong. Like, okay, the only heresy in this movie is that fast food list that they had. Burger King is #1 fast food
I
chain
know
that
who.
nobody ever heard. Like, what? Burger King? I mean, I get it if they were like a sponsor and that's what they were like paid to say that, but like as far as ad placement, that is horrendous. Like
Yeah.
Burger Kings are #1 choice, and then they all the shade thrown at Taco Bell. They call it Taco Hell. I call it Taco Hell. I thought that was funny. That was pretty validating. But I'm like, they're like, "Oh, we don't talk about Taco Bell," and I thought
We-
that was funny because I'm like, oh, like I assumed it was a diarrhea, but then they're like, no, I got like E. coli and nearly died or died and came back or something. I don't remember what it was.
Well,
But I
there
was
there
also like,
recently, Ty, like a couple weeks ago, there was an E. coli outbreak at
at McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would, but strange, right? It was just a few days after Trump was serving fries, right? Yeah, just saying. It's conspiracy? I think not. I mean, I like him as president. I don't know if I like him
I
as a
think
fry cook. Let's just put it that way. Is it possible? I'm just saying it's possible.
right there. Look at him.
Look,
There's no
he
tag
serves
there.
fries right there.
And then I sit down and there's a tag.
I don't know how he does it. Anyway, yeah,
I don't
that
know.
was absolutely nuts. Um, but anyway, like I don't even know if they mentioned Chick-fil-A. I was like, at least mention the Christian owned one. I don't
Yeah,
know, like the one
that they
that's
close
like
on Sundays.
famous, yeah,
Yeah.
famous for close on Sundays. And then getting the soda wrong drives me crazy. I cannot let this abide. There are 5 substances in the word of wisdom that Mormons do not take: green tea leaf, or even white tea leaf, I guess. Tea leaf, coffee, and the coffee bean. I'm not even talking about caffeine. Stop it with the soda and caffeine. That drove me crazy. Illegal substances like
She
drugs,
clarified
illegal
though.
drugs.
She said like that's
Did
not.
she?
I think she said soda, but it's not. It. They said I can't. She clarified that one.
Did
I
she
think.
clarify?
Yeah.
Because he apologized for the sodas, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And I was like, "That's not the fetching soda." That
No,
got
she
me
even said
so
that. She's
mad.
like, we're just not thirsty. She's like, it's
Well, I know, but I think that was just her saving face to be kind and polite because at this point they're like, he's going to punish us
yeah, but she was
because
also
we're trying to leave.
clarifying like it's okay, we can drink that.
I must have missed that, so they just weren't thirsty. So he misunderstood.
Yeah.
I get
The
that.
big
He's like, oh,
the
maybe
big
you
one
can't have soft
was,
drinks.
and I just kept thinking after a while, I just kind of like I'm just like, all right, they're not gonna try to be accurate at all. Like I mainly it was just like things I'm like, well, we could sit here and explain it all, but it's like I don't at a certain point I'm like, I don't even care.
And then I thought,
Like
and I realized I don't care.
I don't care. I'm yeah, surprised you wanted to talk about this. I like aspects of it, fun thriller. Other aspects, it's like so, like you said, so far disconnected from what we believe. It's just like, okay.
Well, it's funny. They probably couldn't get a Mormon to come and like, stand in and
Or
kind of fill in the
maybe
gaps
an active
because
one that has a
no, no,
terrible.
yeah, I was gonna say because the movie ended up being rated R, so they're like, I could never consult me on a movie that's gonna turn out to be rated R that stars Mormons. That just makes me
Yeah.
laugh. I thought that would be funny. Like, there's a joke there. The pearl clutching. That was the other, okay. That was the last thing I was going to throw out was this whole IVF thing. She's got this rod in her arm that prevents getting pregnant. Sister missionaries and elders, men and women, when they serve missions, are to remain celibate. I don't know why this was a thing. I guess she was a convert. Maybe she got it before. I don't know. That's not really explained. But then they said there's this big stigma about it. There's not. There's anyway, that bothered me for some reason. I'm like, yeah, I know stereotypically Latter-day Saints have giant families and households,
Well,
but
don't
there's
some
no stigma.
girls get on it early or something? I don't know. I don't really know.
Again, she was a convert, so maybe that was something that she'd done before, or maybe before her mission, she didn't know. But I'm also like, we don't believe in practicing like safe sex outside of marriage anyway. Like, don't have
Yeah.
sex. We believe in abstinence. So I don't know why that bothered me so much because it's like, oh, there's a big stigma about it. I'm like, is the stigma because she's having sex outside of marriage? Because there is a stigma there. But I was like, and again, as far as a commandment is concerned, sure. I don't know why it bothered me so much that it's like because of contraception, they think that's the issue. And I'm like, no, it's because maybe the implication that she's having sex outside of marriage. I don't know why
Yeah,
it
like I
bothered me so
said,
much because I'm
it
like, contraception's not the
at a s-
issue. And I just
at a
feel like they were
certain point,
missing
I
the
just was
issue.
like, whatever. Because
Yeah.
like when she said the whole butterfly, I want to be that butterfly. I was just like,
I was like, does this
okay,
bimbo
so
believe in reincarnation?
yeah, I was just like, okay, well, I don't know. Either she doesn't understand, like it. Anyways, we just don't believe it. But also, like sometimes when you're with your companion, you make jokes. Like if you're like,
Sure.
oh, if I was to
Yeah.
come back, I'd come
If
back
I
as a
were to
dog.
come back, yeah,
Yeah, and like sure, you talk about that stuff,
I'll
but
come back as a lion and I'd freaking eat you. And then I'd bang your tuna girlfriend.
I come back if you were tuna, I would eat you. Um,
Okay,
so
lions don't like water. Okay, keep going. Sorry. Keep going with your analogy.
breathing apparatus. Week? No, month? Sure. Um, anyways, we're going way off track. This
Yeah,
it's just as far as like accuracies, it's not. It's just
it's not.
it's
So,
a
yeah,
it's a
they made it rated R. Even Latter-day Saints couldn't go see this movie.
it's
They're
I don't
like,
know.
let's start two Latter-day Saint missionaries. And I don't know. Like I said, to me, I don't think they did a severe injustice, but I did think I was like, did they again, Trevor Grace didn't have a companion anywhere. I'm like, traveling twos, like that's very common, like that's necessary. And I just thought it's funny. He's just wandering around and he did nothing. You did bum all with the one other famous actor than Hugh Grant, and you did nothing with him. Nothing. He served no purpose, no callback, nothing. He was just there to show how dumb and not good at following up with anything he was. Like I
And,
wanted to see some clever use of Topher Grace.
and
Nothing.
if you didn't tune out after
My
the first joke
goodness.
Ty made,
Yeah.
that he was quoting
Hacked
Always
him.
Sunny in Philadelphia.
That's right. That's right.
Um, I see. I didn't want to give this movie a headline, but that's fine. I wanted to give A Real Pain a headline because that was an amazing movie that's in theaters right now, and that movie I do recommend people see. That movie's so
Real pain. Is
good.
that your Jesse Eisenberg and
Yeah,
Kieran
and Kieran Culkin,
Kieran Culkin?
dude, he is so good. Oh my gosh, we'll get into that. Obviously, we'll wrap up
Dude,
this
wipe
movie.
wipe up your your thirst, your drool, Jordan. Jeez. Uh, we'll get to the other movies in a minute. Um, let's
Oh, well, I
see.
have nothing more to say about this movie. Don't watch it.
Yeah. Oh, they're I guess, yeah. Is it a waste of time to just read my letterbox review, right? Anyway. Um,
Uh,
yeah, I pretty much said all the things I wanted to do, but I think the
yeah,
the it was well acted. I think the Sister Missionaries were good. Like
sure.
they played like a good subtle like uh ratcheting up the tension because like even the subtle things where
I wouldn't say it was subtle. They were like zooming in on
uh,
her throat
yeah,
and
don't even get me started with Hugh Grant. Yeah. That
and it
that
was like
Adam's apple was
perspiring.
that Adam's apple acting. Like,
Ty's like, this is so subtle. They're like, I'll zoom in.
dude, they were like on Hugh Grant. I couldn't even see his face. It was like half of his forehead. I was like, wait, whoa, back up there, cinematographer. They were so thrilled. They're like, look, we're getting like right up in his face. And it stands for the fact that we're just exposing this man for who he is. I don't know. I don't know what they were trying to say, but it was just so weird how close up it was. None of them. I think the System Missionaries did a good job at like continuing to ratchet up, keeping like, what is it? There's like a weird thing, like I don't remember if it was a serial killer. Somebody said like in an interview, they were like, it's weird like how long people will go along with something just to not be impolite. Like he got
Oh
so
yeah,
many
the
victims. He got so many
the
victims. Like he would just walk into people's homes and be like, "Hey, it's okay, it's okay." And
girl
like,
with the
is
dragon tattoo,
that
like
the one?
the yeah, where he's like he tells him because
Yeah.
he's like you were afraid to. Cameron quotes it all the time, but
Yeah,
it's like you were too afraid to, be dispolite. The
yeah,
fear of that was overweighed the fear of death, which is
of getting in
crazy.
the car with a killer, yeah, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
The
And
fear of offending, that's what it was.
yeah, fear of offending someone, so you like go along with it until you realize you painted yourself into a corner or put
Yeah, it's
yourself
too
in a
late.
cage with a viper.
But just double
So
checking, so both the stairways led to the basement, right? I thought
yeah,
that. Okay.
yeah, but I think that was just the first test where he's like, I like that defiance where it was like they have a belief and a disbelief door, and you thought like one of them was a trap
Yeah,
door or
yeah.
gonna kill them, but ultimately it just led to the same basement. But it was the first test, I guess you could say, where it's like, are you gonna rely on your faith? Because I think the other thing I was kind of hoping for that we didn't get because I feel like the movie like I was waiting for the foreshadowing of the other sister missionary that ends up getting you know, the
Throat slice.
trachea, yeah, the windpipe. She gets the extra hole in her throat, um, and the stoma. I thought that she was gonna have a trial of faith, and
Oh,
we were gonna.
oh, that's what he cut out of her arm was the thing. I thought he said she's a robot.
No, yeah,
It's
it's a form of contraception. Yeah.
Oh, I thought he pulled it out and he's like, see, she was a robot. I thought I was like, is this another twist? Like, oh man, I'm an
Wait a
idiot.
second. So, are you under the impression that one of the sister missionaries was a robot, and Hugh
I
Grant
thought
knew that she
the
wasn't
director was
real?
trying to say like the members of the church are not like human or something.
Oh my gosh. Jordan, not everyone is anti the church as much as you
I
think they are, all right?
just like because he pulled out some metal out of her, and I thought he was like trying to say something.
Jordan wanted to see like Jordan's just thinking like you just watched Alien and you're thinking like he's gonna then rip off her head and milk's gonna be spraying everywhere and he's like starts talking because
Or
she's a freaking
Invincible. Remember
cyborg.
when he's cutting through his arm to make sure he's like a human? And he finds out he's a robot.
Oh yeah, freaking Aaron, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love it, dude. I'm not
I
even
watched too much
real.
sci-fi crap. Yeah.
Am I even real? Is it
Is
real?
life? Is this real?
This is real. Anyway, so yeah, that was not she was not a robot. Although to your credit, I think he jokingly said like, "Oh," but like I'm almost I don't know if that thought crossed my mind, but I totally get why you're saying it. But I
I thought
just
he was
think it's
saying
funny
like we were
to
living in a simulation, or I can't remember. He said something weird that threw me off, and I
like
was like,
she's not real.
"Yeah,
He
she's
just
not."
rips off her
There's
mask. It's the freaking Scooby Doo, you know. It's like
heels.
wires and buttons. Oh, it's like a creepy skeletal thing. Oh my gosh. That's so funny. So yeah, no, he cut out of her arm the IVF,
Mm.
pregnancy blocker or whatever. So anyway, um, I lost what I was gonna say, but yeah, I agree. More tests of faith. I almost would have liked it. He was like, pray to know which door won't kill you, right? If God loves you and wants you to live. Like I always wanted that. There was not even that. Like, and I thought one door would have a crossbow behind it, Anything. None of that.
Yeah,
There's one door, go down to the basement, and then witness this miracle that he performs that's not a miracle, and then find a bunch of women in cages. And I'm like, that's it. You have a
yeah.
whole basement and you don't even have multiple traps.
I know. I
They didn't
thought
lean
there'd be
into it.
like
They needed to lean
more.
into it.
I thought there'd be more tests, or
Yeah.
like I said, it just kind of slowed way
He should have
down.
done like magic tricks. I would have freaking loved that. He's just like, identify where the card is, or he's got three cups and he's just around on the table. He's just like, and he's like, where's the key to your bike locks? Like, if you want your bikes back, anything. And then he's like, pray to know which one, like just like mocking them more, right? But I guess he was trying to take the philosophical approach where he's like, no, see, like I've studied all these religions and I know all about yours, and here's this Bible and here's the Monopoly board games. I loved all that. I was just waiting for this to become a board game, and then it didn't become a game. It never became a game.
Yeah.
He brought up like multiple Monopoly. He brought up the fact that it was repackaged, this other game that went unnoticed. I love that. I was like the Torah versus, the Old Testament versus the New Testament, all this stuff. I thought it was great. And then, oh, and then I loved how like this new bastardized version of this board game became the Book of Mormon. I don't know why I thought that was funny. It was like a Monopoly deal with a funny twist. Like I don't know if it's Star Wars Monopoly or whatever it was. It was like a fake cheap imitation of it. And I'm like, shots fired, man. It's like we still
Yeah.
believe in the Bible. Read them both, dude. They're good
Yeah,
stuff.
we do. It's like we still read the Bible,
But
and then the
I know, like, I'm like, okay, again, I get it. You think that we put a lot of emphasis on the Book of Mormon. I just think that's really funny though. But and then the musical, it's freaking hilarious. Matt Stone, Trey Parker, nice work. Musical is very, very funny.
it
Um,
funny, but it also is devoid of faith, like I said.
well, that's because Jordan's like, look at these guys are freaking NPCs, man. She cut her open and she had freaking wires and
They
metal.
do. Like literally there's a song that says I believe and he's like it doesn't matter. You just have to believe and it's like no, we have faith. There's a difference. It's just like but people just don't understand it because they don't have any of it.
That's right, Jordan. Tell them, preach. Call them to repentance, Jordan. You're on the
Yeah.
podcast. Do it. You heathenistic
Well, it's
listeners,
just
you
funny though
filthy
too, because like
Philistines.
this guy's like, I'm gonna show a miracle, but that's
Yeah.
not even how faith works. It's like faith is over time. It's like you slowly
Wait,
gain.
you mean the villain in this movie got it wrong?
He did. He was like, I'm gonna show him a miracle and I can prove.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's why so many people that I mean, there's countless examples of people in the Book of Mormon and Bible that like saw angels, then 2 seconds later they were bowing down to a golden idol. It's like,
Yeah,
you
if
know,
yeah, seeing things does not create any sort of faith. Yeah, we know that.
no.
But one thing I was gonna say, I this reminded me of Hot Fuzz. I just watched Hot Fuzz recently. The ending is dumber than I almost kind of wish it was. I thought he was going to use like scientific reasoning to like bring her back from the dead, and then she was going to say that she had a near-death experience, and it's like chemicals in her brains firing off this imaginary afterlife, right? That's what I was hoping he
What?
would
Hot
say.
Fuzz?
I'll get to that. I'll tie it in
Oh.
because you think I'm going to spoil Hot Fuzz. So anyone that doesn't want Hot Fuzz spoiled for them, it's an Edgar Wright movie that came out years ago, starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Anyway, the
Directed
evil
by Edgar
cults, the
Wright.
evil
It
cult.
came out in
I know it came out. Well, I'm just letting you know his movie
I
is
know
very
you
old.
just
But I just want to randomly spoil a movie that someone may have been anticipating to watch. So anyway, I'm spoiling Hot Fuzz, so skip the next 10 seconds. The evil cult is murdering people for very less important reasons than even Simon Pegg thought. Like she had an annoying laugh.
it's
Annoying.
annoying.
Yeah, yeah. So I just watched it with my brother-in-law. He loved it.
Dude,
It's
I
such a
love
funny movie.
chanting the great are good.
The great ticket. Shut it. How could you say this is for the
Shut
greater
it.
good? So yeah, it's that. But anyway, done spoiling Hot Fuzz. But they think it's so much more important than it is. I really thought that because in my mind, I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome. He's going to bring her back from the dead and she's going to recount this story and be like, and then he's going to be like, every single one of these women have said the same thing or whatever because they died. The chemicals in your brain fire off. So, all these weird visions start happening as your body's shutting down. And then you like resurrect them, but bring them back to life from the dead, like get a defibrillator. I thought that was going to happen. Never happened. It's just some cheap trick where he dumps this bimbo down the laundry chute and then this other woman is placed in her place. I'm like, dumb. But I liked it only for the fact that I guess he thought he was convincing him of it, but then it was like her head's not even in the same position. And like they notice
I
a detail like that. I
I
was
know.
looking at her freaking head, dude.
I
Pulls up her head. It's terrifying. It's like you
like
need
I
to like
said,
feel
she
her
turned into
pulse.
Sherlock Holmes. I was like, okay. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah. She's like, I believe in these wacky traditions that I've been taught without question. But I am now starting to question every action that this guy has taken this afternoon, right? Yeah, it doesn't work. They're trying to have their cake and eat it too. These either dumb sister missionaries that don't know any better and they're just doing what they were told by their
dude,
parents and don't have any faith in their religion, but they're freaking Sherlock Holmes when it comes to, I think I
I
figured
know.
it out.
I was watching a documentary Ty about flat
That's funny.
earthers and a bunch of them were Christian. And I'm like, no, you're giving us a bad name. Stop. Stop. To
It's like
believe doesn't mean just believe in anything. Oh my gosh. Cuckoo heads.
you heard it here first on the podcast, everybody. Jordan's Jordan's
I'm just
shots
tired.
fired.
We got so many like people think we're absolutely bananas nutso, and I can see why.
I
Like,
was just, have you been watching the latest season of Cobra Kai? I think they're on 6 seasons now, unbelievably.
no,
Anyway,
Tyler was telling me how terrible it is, the latest
I,
season.
it's, well, okay, it's jumped the shark, but it's still very funny to watch.
Oh,
You
okay.
have,
I might have to check it
oh,
out
it's
then.
just fun. Like,
Oh,
like, keep in mind the villain's plot is to fill the world with the Cobra Kai karate dojos. Like that's what's at stake here, and that's what makes it such a great show. But
Okay.
you just mentioned flat Earth that made me think of that. He's flying and he's like, "Hey," he's like, "Excuse me, miss." He's like a flight attendant. He's like, "Can you tell me why we're not flying in a straight line? Like on the map, it shows the airplanes. His course is like a curve." And yeah." It's like I've been assured that it's a straight shot. Tell the pilot to fly straight. It's so funny. It's literally a dig on flat Earth. It was
Oh,
so
that's
funny. Johnny
hilarious.
Lawrence, of course, he'd believe in flat Earth because he's in moron, and he was only born
Yes.
like 2 days ago or whatever. After, yeah,
Man, now
what's
you
the
make me want to
internet,
watch it again. The
dude?
reason
It's
I
so
didn't,
funny.
I stopped watching it is because
Yeah,
I lost my spot, and then I kept going back and rewatching the same episodes, and it started to make me so mad. I'm like, I'm done, because I'm like, I don't want to rewatch the
I don't want to
same
rewatch
stuff.
this.
The problem was
It's
I was like
uh,
forgetting everything.
as far as like it's probably one of the most wholesome and just it feels like so
You say
like
wholesome, and yet it's got a
sanitized.
lot of dirty jokes. A lot.
It, yeah, but like, how do you describe it? Like kids fighting karate? Like, is that even a thing? Like I said, the
You mean to
villain's
say
plot.
it's super cheesy? It's like it's like almost like a Hallmark.
uh, But yeah, but Hallmark's freaking wholesome. And now I get it. Like there might be like kids or foul mouth and whatever, but like I don't know. I think it's TV PG, right? Or TV 14 probably.
It's 14, I think. I mean, maybe.
I don't know. It just feels like pretty much anyone could watch it and feel like I mean, yeah, I remember the first season had like two F-bombs or something like that. But even then I made my in-laws watch it. Everyone watched season one. It was freaking hilarious. And I agree, like I said, they've jumped the shark because they just keep resurrecting old people from I don't even watch. I've watched one Karate Kid movie. No, that's not true. I somehow watched the Jackie Chan and Jada. I don't remember anything about that. I actually don't know if it was Jada. What's his name?
Yeah, Jada
What's Will
Smith.
Smith? Jada Smith. That sounds like such a girl
Jaden,
name.
Jaden.
Oh,
I,
Jaden Smith. See,
I don't know. I don't
Jada
care.
Pinkett Smith. Isn't that his wife's name?
Oh yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. It's
Jada's his
his.
wife.
It's
Will Smith's son.
Will Smith's
You
son,
try to
whatever
make
his
an
name
actor.
is.
I'm
Yeah.
not a coward. That guy. And After Earth. I'm not a coward. Anyway, yeah, he was with Jackie Chan in that one. I'm like, Jackie
Yeah.
Chan did his best to be Mr. Miyagi. I'll give him that.
I
There's
love
some
Jackie
funny.
Chan.
Yeah, I love Jackie Chan. But anyway, my point is these shows keep bringing back people from like Karate Kid 2, 3, and 4 who nobody has seen. And they just keep bringing back these villains and they're like, now I'm going to fill the world with Cobra Kai. It's just it's bonkers. Like I said, they
That's
jumped the
funny.
shark. It's freaking great. So highly recommend it. Just keep watching. It's Flat Earth joke. That made me laugh. But anyway, Heretic, I don't have too much left to say. That was it. Just, hey guys, give the Mormon church a shot, give it a chance. And
I'm sure they will after that movie. Nah,
and I kind of wanted like the prophetess to be more of a barbarian. I kind of wish that one of the women got a chance to like kill Hugh Grant. How did he even die? Did he die at the end? What happens to him? That was so
yeah, remember?
forgettable how
So
quick he died.
they showed that piece of wood with the nails out of it, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
later it came into play.
Yeah,
I
and then
just
she kills him.
when she hit him, I was like, oh, I forgot about that. And it's funny because they like zoomed in and made sure you knew it was there.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
I was waiting for it, but yeah, I
I was
did
waiting
wonder.
for it, then I
I
forgot
thought
about it.
I thought he was going to use it on the sister missionary, and that's why I was kind of disappointed when he
Mm.
used the knife and slit her throat because I was like, oh, I kind of want a more gruesome, like freaking board hit to the head, and then like maybe he didn't know the nails were there. He was just trying to scare her, like I don't
Yeah,
know.
when he
Then
like crawled towards her and he was like breathing heavy, I was like, maybe we're gonna have some kind of moment. And he's like, I see the life after this. There is
yeah, yeah,
life.
I was waiting for
Anything.
something. Yeah,
I was just waiting for something interesting.
right.
And
I
it's just
agree.
a
I was waiting for him to be like, my wife. I literally was waiting, just like you, Jordan. I was
anything.
waiting. He'd been like, my wife died of cancer, and I got scared being alone. Like I was waiting for anything, and not even to be like, oh, you're what do you call it? You're not justified, but at least I now understand your motives for doing so. Because as far as I know, he just gets it for kicks and giggles. And while that's kind of amusing, it's not though. Like, I mean, like, okay, you enslave all these women and like you just wait for sister missionaries to come by so you can give them a trial of faith and then like lock those women in cages and then
I
get the
thought
women to
he was
play
a
along
serial
with your
killer.
fantasy. I don't understand. I don't
Isn't he a
understand.
serial killer? I thought that's what he was. I don't know.
I didn't see him kill a single person in this movie except uh, delayed killed one person because she came back to life. That
Well,
was the
no,
miracle.
he fed that one chick the pie.
She died. Yeah. So I guess he
Yeah.
poisoned one chick. Is that a serial
Yeah.
killer? I don't know. Wasn't very
unfortunately.
exciting. I wanted to see more death, man. I wanted to see more death. More death. The only
I don't
heresy
know. I wanted to see something, but
kill count extremely low. I just needed the cop scene
yeah, the
and
or not the
I'll
cop.
take
It
care.
was
I needed Topher Grace to be eating a burger in his car and be like,
I'll
I'll
take
take
care of
care
it when I
of it when
take
I
care of
take
it.
care of
Well, yeah,
it.
he wasn't a cop. He was just another missionary, I
No,
guess.
yeah, he was a missionary, but again, where was his companion? I have
I
no
know,
idea
but
what's
you
going
said
on.
you wanted the cop moment, which
Yeah, I wanted him to go into the house to try to look for
oh,
the girls and get
investigate. Yeah, yeah,
murdered. Like,
yeah.
just needed an extra murder victim, and then he could have killed him with like a candlestick or with the freaking steel wire. I don't care. Just do
Is this
something
Clue? To kill them with the
with a
candlestick.
candles. Well, I'm thinking about the house he had. He had like all the. He should have killed him with like a Bible or something. That would have been great. And then like he literally could have done the line like, "Well, there's some Bible bashing for you." That would have been a great line. I just came
Yeah.
up with that on the spot. Did they even consult me? I will take my royalty checks. Thank you, A24. Hire me on. Even just two lines like that have been like, or she should have had her Book of Mormon and bashed his head in with some scripture. It would have been freaking like remember Fault? That's another amazing cult movie
Ooh,
where someone
there's a
gets
good
beaten to
one.
death with a book.
That's a great movie about religion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, cults. I know some people would say that the Latter-day Saint faith is a cult. I don't subscribe to that notion because I am a member of that church, but anyway. Um yeah, I just something. Bible bashing would have been such a great line. Bashes him in the head with his old Bible. He had the old Bible. I thought that was gonna come back into play. Or he just like would have put his head down on a desk and just like like squished it. Like read this and like squished his head in it, you know? Why don't you try reading this for a change, you know? Anyway, that would have been my cool missionary moment. And then I didn't get the ending where she gets outside and it's like a butterfly, and then it's not there. And it's like, is she now dying or is she now no longer childish? Is that what it was? Like, I'm actually failing to understand what the butterfly at the end for the sister missionary meant because she's like, I want to be a butterfly when I come back. But the
You know what?
butterfly's gone. So does it mean that she's not going to die? Is that all that it means?
You know what I
Because
did enjoy?
if she saw the butterfly, it means like I'm dying and I'm, but then the butterfly's gone. So she's like, oh, she's gonna keep living on, I guess.
Eh, whatever. I checked
Yeah,
out at
who
the time,
cares, right?
but
Who cares?
I did enjoy like the buildup of like, oh yeah, my wife, she's like in the back
Making the
room, and
pie, yeah.
yeah, she's making the
Come on
pie,
in.
and
Come further in.
I
Oh, the pie smells delicious. Brings out the refreshments.
I
And then
just
it's just a candle.
yeah.
Has anyone been fooled by a candle thinking it was actually a baked good? I don't know,
There,
maybe.
there was a few little details that I enjoyed. Like the guy, he's setting up his little thing to open up the door, like the little
Yeah, yeah.
thermostat. Yeah, it,
Timer, yeah. That was cool.
um,
I
and
get
then I did like it was kind of funny. The girl like walks up and really quickly like looks at the model, and she knows exactly where to look, and then she's like, "Oh, that's how I get out." And I was just like, "Okay,
Yeah,
that's
it's
fine."
like, wait,
They
wait,
did not.
I can't even do like a freaking child maze in that time, you know?
I know. I just like how quickly she's like, "Oh, yeah, that's how I get out." I was like,
Just
"All
like
right,
there's,
we're
and
getting
even
right
the
to
model
this."
has like a vent to escape. Yeah, it's like, well,
Yeah.
that was convenient.
And it was like a secret one. It was just
Yeah,
funny, but
sure.
I don't know. It's you know, he tried.
I gave it the old college try. I wanted to review this movie ultimately because I like that little indie films like this are getting made. Like Two Sister Missionaries getting put through a sadistic trial of faith. Well, this guy, this antichrist tries to convince them of, miracles, and that's a good premise. Just feels like it was a little shallow. Like it could have gone for it, but I guess it took itself too seriously, right? Because Hugh Grant was having a great time, and that's why I wanted a little bit more
Yeah.
pizzazz. Like I wanted to see him doing the freaking long legs, just Nick Cage going full bore, and instead it's like, eh, he's just kind of like doing the thing, and at the
Well,
end,
but
his
even
whole
long legs
monologue,
though,
like
long legs
whole
I did
monologue.
kind of check out at the end too. I don't know why I keep doing that at the end of these horror movies.
Sure, it's like, oh, it's a robot. He'll never get over
Yeah,
that.
that's when I was really like I'm not
Really checked
following
out. Yeah.
this.
I'm not following this. Well, maybe you should watch the movie again, realizing that she's not a robot. So it might change your perspective. Anyway, I
Yeah.
will say the miracle that she comes back to life to then avenge her missionary companion and kill Hugh Grant. I thought that was cool because it was like nothing short of a miracle. Because remember, faked the other one and she didn't come back to life, but she kind of did. She was like bleeding out with her throat slit, but is able to come back for one final kill. That was exciting.
I don't know. It felt like it was trying to say something, and
Yeah.
yet it felt like it was kind of contradicting itself at the same time.
You might say the more you learn, Jordan, the more confused you are.
The
Guess
less
we're
I
not so
care,
different after all. Yeah, less I care.
the more I learn.
I was gonna say, yeah, now you're like empathizing with Hugh Grant, the false prophet. That's good.
Anyways, I don't know.
Dude, you know what I
Yes, it
wanted?
was
I
well.
wanted
I
him
will
to
give it
don
credit.
a
It was well
robe.
made.
I
Huh?
wanted him to don a robe at the end and do like a sermon. I was waiting for that
Yeah, the
moment.
cult moment or
Something.
something. Because
Yeah,
yeah, I
or
saw the
yeah, he's got
satanic stuff, and I was like,
all the women. He's like doing a harem or something like that. He's like, you can join my cult. Yeah, that would have been great, dude. Because he's like, I keep all
yeah,
these women here, and it's
something.
like hard pass, and then she slaps him.
But
We're playing Live Aid. Do you want to join? Hard pass.
yeah,
It's from Weird
I
Al.
don't
Sorry.
know. It was. I'll give it credit. It was well made. That's all I'll say. But I'm done.
Well made.
Don't
Piece of
recommend.
garbage that let's watch. They had some robots in this movie. So insulting. We Latter-day Saints, we don't actually have buttons and wires beneath our skin. See, I bleed, and I'll demonstrate it for you here on the podcast right now. I'll cut myself. Scorton Berlin. Anyway, guys, this has been so much fun. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh,
Let's
that's what it
hear.
was. The Hangover. Ah,
Ah.
when you did that, reminded me of that.
We gotta do movies that we've seen lately, movies we're looking forward to. Jordan already said he wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend Heretic if you want to be infuriated if you're a Latter-day Saint. And if you don't know what the Mormon faith is all about, uh like I don't know, read the Book of Mormon instead. Don't watch Heretic. You might get the wrong idea about us. Anyway, Jordan, what movies have you seen lately? What are you looking forward to?
I already mentioned A Real Pain.
Yeah,
I'm so glad
in the
I
theater.
watched this. Seriously, this is one of my favorite movies I watched this year, and this is a movie I wish we highlighted. And I've been telling you to watch it.
I
And at
mean,
the very
just now. I mean, yeah, I'll get back to the theater. I don't even know if it's
just
playing in my theater.
and it was directed by Jesse Eisenberg, which I was
Is it just
shocked by
is it
the
about two brothers? Is it about two brothers?
yeah, and the
Like
Cullen kid, Culkin, he reminds me of you a little bit.
Kieran Culkin.
Yeah, he just has like a gift with talking to people. And there's a moment, I'll just tell you one moment. I'm telling
Sure.
the joke and I apologize for spoiling this joke, but there's a moment when the all the characters because they're doing a tour and this reminds me of like my relationship with people and ties. Like people were obsessed with Ty growing up. And this is this character
But
and
they
they're
no
like
longer are, unfortunately.
it- but no. Well, so the people are like, "Oh my gosh, like you all the things you said, like I connected with, and thank you so much for sharing what you did." And then all of a sudden they look over at the other brother and they're like, "All right, see ya." They walk away. And the other and it just reminds me of like so many interactions with people. So many girls were like obsessed with Ty and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I love your brother." And I was like a shadow to Ty. And
Well, you heard it here first, folks, on the podcast.
but
Jordan's not lying. I was all that.
But I cried a lot in this movie. Powerful stuff because they go
Yeah.
on a tour because they're Jews and they get to see their heritage.
Can
And
you just say Jew like that, Jordan?
well, they are, right? I don't know. So I just
Jeez, it's
I
immutable, Jordan. What's wrong with you?
and I love too another quote they said like with immigrants the first immigrants are like super poor and they work themselves to death so that the next generation then they can become doctors, you know, with that money and go to school. And then the generation after that become burnouts and do drugs.
Yeah, third generation immigrants suck.
So,
It's so
but
true, dude.
it's
That's
just
funny.
fascinating. I feel like it's the same with people in our gospel. It's just like, you know, the first generation that come from Christ like are like solid and then they leave after that and then the third generations are like they're gone.
Already, yeah, they're very wayward. All right, I love it, dude. Any other movies that you've seen?
Just that was the only one I wanted to make a note of. I mean, because you watched Starsky and Hutch, I watched it as well.
Have
It
you seen
was
that one? I never seen that one. That just missed
yeah, we
my
saw it on the
perfect.
houseboat.
I know you guys did. I wasn't 13. You guys didn't let me watch it.
Uh
Say I missed it, and that's why I watched it. I was like, It's a Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson comedy. I want to see this.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And anyway, loved it. It's freaking hilarious.
I've seen it, which I gotta add that I've rewatched it.
It's funny, like I'm trying to remember, like other than Zoolander 2, what other comedy duo did they do together? I feel like there's one more.
Zoolander.
Oh, it was Dukes of Hazzard, right? That's the other one I'm gonna watch.
They did not do Dukes of Hazzard.
It's Ben Stiller, isn't it?
No.
Or is it Sean William Scott?
No, Dukes of Hazzard has the guy from American Pie and
Sean
Johnny
William Scott.
Knoxville. I thought it
Oh,
was
and
Johnny
Johnny
Knoxville.
Knoxville?
Yeah. You're
It might
thinking of the
be
wrong I think you're thinking of a different
Starsky and
movie.
Hutch. I guess maybe I was thinking of Starsky and Hutch. I don't know. Anyway, I never watched like the old cop show, but I totally got the reference because I watched shows like Columbo growing up with grandma and grandpa. Like all those detective shows, like they were so over the top and they nailed that. I thought the aesthetic was really, really funny. So I
Yeah, it was
watched a few different movies. Let's see where we did Dan in real life. Okay, so I did Apocalypse Z, the beginning of the end. Did I mention this one? The zombie movie?
maybe.
It was a Spanish movie. I enjoyed it. It felt like a little bit like World War Z or 28 Days Later. There's definitely things I enjoyed about it though. I felt it was good. Like as far as foreign films go, like it's good, entertaining zombie flick. Then I watched Brothers, not the one with yelling Tobey Maguire and Jake Gyllenhaal. Don't think I'll ever see that movie, but I love your movies suck making fun of that all the time. Just like anyway, Brothers had it was written by one of the Coens, and it shows because you need both of them. But you had Brendan Fraser, who was
He
just
really
ham.
wrote it? Oh man, I need to check it out now.
Just be prepared. It's pretty boring, and it's pretty
Oh,
lackluster. Like you had actors like Josh Brolin, Peter Dinklage, Glenn Close, and they do f all with any of them. But Brendan Fraser is hamming it up. It's worth
yeah,
it
I
just
that's
watching it
why
for
I want to
his
see
scenes.
Brendan Fraser's stuff, yeah.
The trailer, watch the trailer, and you're like, this movie looks great. And it is just the trailer. Like everything they had to
Mm,
cobble together a trailer, and then everything else is just filler, and it's just actors sitting around a room talking.
uh
And that's fine. Just watch the trailer and you'd be like, that looked like a good movie. And be like, yeah, the trailer is the movie that you would have liked to have seen. I promise you. So watch the trailer and you've seen the movie. Because literally the best part is when Brendan Fraser yells in the front seat, I am justice. It's freaking hilarious. And then gets kicked in the head and gets knocked out. It's so funny. Two laughs in the entire movie, and they're both in the trailer.
oh,
So
that's too bad.
just watch the trailer, and the trailer's
Did-
funny, like because it makes you feel that you can see so many. It just takes the things. It's like Big Lebowski. You have Peter Dinklage goes into his bathroom and he gets thrown against the wall of the tub and falls in the tub, and then he's interviewing him and he's trying to. It's Brendan Fraser yelling at Dinklage, "Where's the emeralds?" It's like literally, "Where's the money, Lebowski?" And like it literally
Where's the
is this.
money, dickhead?
Ah, I think it's down there. Let me look one more time.
Let me look one more time.
Dude, it literally stole from their own material, which is fine. I mean, he made it, so you can just keep milking it, I guess. But like, anyway, Brendan Fraser was great. Glenn Close is in it. They do anything like nothing with her story. Josh Brolin, he's an amazing actor. It was so funny too in the trailer. It shows like all three of them are Academy Award winning actors, and they do bum all with any of them, or four of them because it's Brendan Fraser. Anyway,
Wait,
it was
I did forget to mention, sorry, really quick. I did watch a movie with Kevin Kline and Sigourney Weaver. It's called Dave. It's about him becoming president. It's really funny if you're looking for a like a lighthearted comedy about a good
I don't
president.
know. Ever since Trump got into office, I just haven't. I've been really triggered watching movies about becoming president.
And
So
then the last one is the Darjeeling Limited. So that was a Wes Anderson
Darjeeling
film.
Limited, love that movie. It's
Oh, okay,
good.
good. I was gonna
It's
ask
good.
if you'd seen it.
So it's funny
Three
that you said
brothers, yeah.
because I did I mention my three favorite Wes Anderson? It has to be Fantastic Mr. Fox, Bottle Rocket, and Darjeeling Limited.
Okay.
Like Moonrise Kingdom is a close fourth. Grand Budapest feels the same. Asteroid City down, down. Like it just keeps going down.
Yeah, Astrid City.
I'm trying to think. Life Aquatic. I know a lot of people like that movie. I couldn't even finish it.
Dude,
Unwatchable.
French Dispatch, I fell asleep in the
French
theaters.
Dispatch also.
It's like,
Royal Tenenbaums, I'd probably put right up there. And then Isle of Dogs, I thought was clever, but
I
not
like
as
the
good
Isle of
not
Dogs.
as good as Fantastic Mr. Fox. Like I'd rather watch Fantastic Mr. Fox. Anyway, but yeah, that Darjeeling Limited was pretty fun. I like that. Adrian Brody, Owen Wilson, and Schwartzman, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
and
rewatched
Rushmore
it.
is the other movie, and that probably ranks somewhere between I don't know. Dude, as soon as he gets so freaking anal, man, like his little, oh, it has to be perfectly shot. I'm like, yes, we know. Maybe you have OCD and maybe like he needs to
That
get help for it, but like
And that's why
direct
I
anything
love
else.
this one, Darjeeling Limited, because there's actually like emotion in it. Because
Yes.
later in his films, it's just like he just like
And
wrings it out.
they're still very beautifully shot. Like even them chasing the
Yep.
train, hilarious and funny, but also very well
But
shot. I
he
love it.
wrings out so much emotion, I feel like, in the later
Yes.
films. Like so much so it's like dry. There's nothing left.
He brings it out. I thought you meant like he brings it out, but no, you mean
No,
like
he wrings
it's
out like
devoid. Yeah.
yeah, like if you had a rag, he like wrings out all the emotions and then you just got a dry
I
rag.
literally, I think my review for Asteroid City couldn't finish it, and I think I called it smut. It's like it's a smut film.
For yes, for OCD psychopaths.
Yeah, but no good,
All right,
no good.
so what
And
else?
then yeah, Starsky and Hutch, freaking hilarious buddy cop movie. It's so funny to watch. Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson, hilarious comedy duo. They're so great the way they play off
Dude,
each
and I
other.
love Vince
Zoolander.
Vaughn. His handlebar
No,
mustache,
yeah, it's
beautiful.
so funny you say that too. I totally forget his Vince Vaughn in the movie too. He's freaking great, just playing up as. And then the Dan Band. I cannot stress this enough. One of my favorite uses of profanity in any movie is the Dan Band, where they sing famous songs and they're just very dirty and foul mouthed. Like it was both in all of the Todd Phillips's, or is it Todd Phillips who did Starsky and Hutch? Is it Todd Phillips? It's not Todd
Yeah, he
Phillips.
did.
Is
Yeah,
it
it is
Todd
Todd
Phillips?
Phillips.
Okay, because he did The Hangover. Yeah, yeah, it is Todd Phillips. Because I was just like, who's the guy that did Hangover and Joker? That is Todd Phillips. He did this movie, The Hangover, and one other movie that features the Dan Band, which I'm trying to remember what the other movie was. It was the one with Owen Wilson, old school. I couldn't think of the movie. Anyway, there's this band that's so foul-mouthed that sings these funny songs that are like they sing
Oh
the Liv
yeah,
Tyler
he is.
songs of the heart. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
the freaking
he is so funny.
afro in the movie. Yeah, he's great. Anyway,
He's singing at the girl's bar mitzvah. Oh no, her sweet 16. Is that what it is?
his bat mitzvah, yeah.
Okay, bar mitzvah.
And it's so funny because anyway, just watch on YouTube like the Dan Band if you don't mind profanity, and just watch his the best of the Dan Band is what it's called. And I'll take you to the candy shop. Keep going till you hit that spot. Now effing give it to me, baby. And then in old school, he's singing Liv Tyler's like a clip, Total Eclipse of the Heart, and it's so great. He's like, "Turn around, white eyes," and he goes, "Every now I and fall apart." And you're like, you see Will Ferrell's reaction to the profanity, and he's just getting into it, and he's just singing like all these swear words in popular songs that don't have. It's so good. I don't know why it's just like my brand of humor where you just have this foul-mouthed wedding singer just so funny. Anyway, and then he's like, "You be excellent. We know that you will." It's so creepy. She's turning like becoming of age, and he's the wedding singer with this giant orange bro. So good, dude. Love it. I had to give Dan Band some recognition here. And then I watched The Chronicles of Narnia. The Chronicles of Narnia was great. I watched it with my kids. What a fantastic fantasy movie, right? I think the only reason I knock it is because it seemed to steer off a cliff, like diminishing returns or something. And I know it's hard to like keep the magic going, especially when you get that really annoying kid that they did from where the Millers. What's that kid's name? He was in Maze Runner, the one with the angry eyebrows. Uh, Honest trailer totally roasted that kid because he always looks angry. I don't know. His eyebrows are just always furrowed. Anyway, um, Chronicles of Narnia, the first one was really, really well done. It's great. And my kids loved it. They were totally enthralled. And my son watching the battle scenes, he's like, "This is the most violence he'd ever seen in a movie. Jaguars and rhinos tearing tearing each other apart. It was crazy. It was wild. He loved it. And then I watched uh what I can only describe as like garbage. I watched Hot Frosty, which is just it's like a romantic comedy Christmas Hallmark movie. Although it feels a little edgier because it has the girl from what's it called? But Just Friend? No, not Just Friends. What's it called? Mean Girls. Mean Girls. Gretchen trying to make fetch happen or whatever. It's her, and on the she's what looks at the TV, and there's Lindsay Lohan in some other Christmas movie where she gets amnesia, and he goes, "Weird, she looks just like someone I went to high school with," and I'm like, so this is in the Mean Girls universe. I don't know. It was just the weirdest line where like I'm sure they're like, "Oh, I'm a huge fan of Mean Girls, and that's why I'm watching this movie." And she's like the same girl from high school, or just like She went to high school with an actress that became Lindsay Lohan. I have so many questions about this movie. Anyway, it's like fan service at the worst kind. Anyway, that's why it's 2.5 stars. But I had the closed caption on because sometimes my son is sleeping, um, and we don't want the movie to be too loud to wake him up. So we'll turn on closed captioning to like read subtitles. And I wrote down some of the closed captioning from this movie because it's unbelievable unless you watched it. So one of them, the closed captions from this movie include mystical chimes tinkling, which is great. It just sets the right sentimental music playing. When you're not feeling any emotion, the music cues you in, kind of like a laugh track at a sitcom, right? You're supposed to
Yeah.
laugh now. You're supposed to cry now. Sucks teeth and sexy music starts playing. That's amazing. And then also she finds like naturally the I can't even describe it. There's a snowman, ice sculpture man, really handsome, chiseled body. She puts a magical scarf on him and he comes to life and becomes her boyfriend. It's
Jack
insane.
Frost.
Yeah, but it's hot frosty, I guess. Anyway, that that's what the movie's called, Hot Frosty. Um, anyway, like it's like win a date with Ted Hale. I don't know. It's he was in Schitt's Creek though. He's hilarious. It's the veterinarian guy who the daughter's always dating. What's her name? Alexa. Alexa's dating the veterinarian. He plays the sexy Frosty guy. Anyway,
Oh, is he
Hot
the same
Frosty.
guy in Extract? I love Extract.
Extract. Which one was
He's
Extract? Was the Liam
it's
Neeson, Chris Hemsworth?
no, Extract was the that's Extraction.
Oh,
Uh
Extraction. Yeah.
yeah, Extract is
Extract.
the
Oh, yeah. Jason Bateman. Yes, I think he's in that one as well.
yeah,
I mean, if
if I'm
you
thinking
watch
of the
Schitt's
right.
Creek, you'll remember the veterinarian, right?
He or a doctor. I don't remember. It was she
Yeah.
dated.
He's the animal doctor. Yeah.
Yeah. He's in Extract, and
Yeah,
he
he is an
plays the
Extract. Yeah.
dumb. Uh,
Yes, the pool boy or something.
yeah,
He's
the
got like long hair.
pool
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, cleaning the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yes.
is
That
so
actor. So
funny.
he plays Hot Frosty. Anyway, the movie, it's so cliche, but like she the Hot Frosty finds the cancer diagnosis of her dead husband, who she's still mourning or whatever, and it's time to move on because now she found this Hot Frosty guy. Um, he, the notes from the doctor's office are written in Comic Sans. I don't know why it bothers me so much. It's like the cancer has spread and it's like malignant and all these words, and I'm like, and it's written in the font of like Comic Sans. If your doctor is writing official medical reports in Comic Sans, leave immediately. Seek help. Stop it. Get out. Get out of that office. Do not receive help from this person. Just thought that was insane. Anyway, that's all my ranting and raving. Other movies I do want to look, I want to see. Are there any good movies coming out? I put
Uh,
Brothers because of the Cohen and Josh
Robert
Brolin and
Eggers or Eggers, he is doing Nosferatu.
Vampira. Well, I know when does that come out? Like a few weeks now? It's November
December.
20th. Oh my gosh, I gotta wait another month. I'm not gonna watch any more trailers for it though, because I know they're gonna come out with a third and final trailer. It will spoil too much. I'm just gonna go in blind. I can't wait. I mean, I've seen the teaser because I needed to find out that somehow, but I'm like in the
Well, you
theater,
found
just
a
like close
fake
my.
teaser.
Dude, that fake teaser pretty good. AI is getting so convincing these days. I was fooled by AI. I don't think our seniors stand a chance. 65 and older. If you're a boomer right now or a Gen X, you're cooked, man. Good luck with AI schemes, dude.
Cooked. We're
You're not
cooked,
getting.
Elder.
You're cooked, man. Game over, man. Game over. Say goodbye to your pensions and all your money you have stored aside. Scammers are getting that money, but don't worry. We'll hire Jason Statham as the beekeeper, and he'll come in and get your money back. I guess
I
I don't
love
even know if he got the
Beekeeper.
money back. I think he did. Anyway, um, did not care about that movie, but I gave it 5 stars. So I probably shouldn't ironically rate movies on Letterboxd.
No,
People could
I
be like,
love that movie. I had a blast
yeah,
watching him just
yeah,
straight up
Gatling gun
murder.
on the back of her truck bed. It was just unreal. Um,
Whoa.
let's see. Last thing I will say, other than Robert Eggers' movie, I don't know them going back to the theater. Like, I'll go see Robert Eggers' movie, and I think that's it. Like, is that
It's
the
Greg
last movie I'm seeing?
Zoller.
When is he coming out? When is
Probably not for like a year.
another year? Okay, but it's Vince. it's Vince Vaughn and is it Mel Gibson though or not?
Uh,
Vince Vaughn,
Vince Vaughn and the guy from the Brother movie we were just talking about,
Josh
Darjeeling.
Brolin.
No,
Oh, Brothers movie. Oh, Brendan Fraser.
no. Oh my gosh,
That'd be a freaking crazy. Peter Dinklage.
Adrian Brody. Man, why can't I think of the name?
Oh, okay. Adrian Brody from Darjeeling Unlimited.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. That's great. Thanks for the chat, Jordan. It's always good. It's fun as always. Take it easy. Listeners, leave us an email, futuremovies@gmail.com. Leave us a comments. We love seeing your comments. We read them, especially if they inflate our ego. So leave us something nice. Talk about how handsome we are. Who has better facial hair? It's clearly me. Anyway, this has been Future Hit Movie Jim signing out. Peace.
Bye.
I am the religion. I am the church.
The only true religion is control, Ty, according to him.
He's right.